Hey ladies, this is Hall here with Happy Strong You, admin of this Happy Strong Women Over 40 tribe. Doing this early. I said I was going to do this at 8 p.m. Central Time, but um, might do some jiu-jitsu later on tonight with my husband, so I wanted to try to knock this out earlier. So I apologize for those who were wanting to jump on live at 8 p.m., but I'm going to go ahead and get started early and do a live. And if you're tuning in, let me know. Jump on, hashtag live, say hi, or hashtag replay, or just like. That way I know who's jumping on. This new format, I'm not seeing who's all liking, so maybe comment. That way I can see who's watching and so forth. Let me know how y'all are doing. Just a quick, before I forget, thank you all who have been part of this group since day one, since middle, and since towards recent. And hopefully y'all can hear me. I have this earplug plugged in, so hopefully you can hear me. I got a little bit of music playing in the background. But wanted to welcome any new ladies that's inside this group. I'm going to go over a few ways to kind of do squats, a little bit different than what you might have seen. My goal is to find ways to, especially during these times, ways to put more, have you be able to work the muscle more versus the joint. So more joint friendly as much as possible, reducing joint pain, aches and pains, and so forth. So that's the goal of this group. Anytime I teach strength training, it's finding ways to work the muscles more efficiently as best as possible, along with trying to find ways to reduce extra stress that we may not need. You know, there's a little bit of stress that will be okay, but stress that's going to deteriorate our joints or add a lot more aches and pain, we don't want to do that. We want more longevity as much as possible. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go over, I'm going to try to go quickly. If you have any questions, you want me to answer any questions while I'm either running through this or just outside of that, let me know. I might do a live. Later on next week. As I do that. So I've just been off of Facebook, my personal timeline for a week, and I'm going to be off for the next 3 weeks. My Facebook personal timeline, but only posting here, either doing live or once a week inside this group and in some of my other group. So I'm going to jump to it. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm not sure who's all watching. So whenever you're doing a squat, especially if you have any knee issues, squats may not be ideal starting out. Like you might have to do some more straight-legged stuff to build up to it, like a bridge or something like that. But if you're okay doing squats, one of the things beginners start with is just bodyweight squats. You can do it at the couch. I'm going to turn this music off sorry. That way you can hear me. You can use a couch, layers of pillows, throw layers of pillows. Like if the couch is too low, add another layer of pillow, add another sofa pillow, depending on how much layer you need for assistance. If you have a bench at home, use a bench, add layers to it. Finding ways to add layers to it would be helpful. My head will be cut off, so if I'm standing up tall, it's probably going to, because I wanted to adjust to where you can see me in a good angle without you just mainly see my lower body. So when you're doing a squat, it's just like you're simply sitting down, whether it's in a chair. Make sure the chair or the couch or even in bed. I've kind of went over this, but sometimes I'll review it in different various ways. That way it can kind of click for some of y'all who's watching. So one way is to kind of do a squat. The wider you are, the less stress you're going to have onto the knees. Okay, sorry, my dogs. So if my legs are narrow, think about this. If I squat from distance to my hip, as I squat, see this distance to my hip, this load right here? I don't know if you can see that. that is like a narrow squat. So that's gonna, if you think about it, I'm not saying it's bad. If your goal is to put more stress on the knee for whatever reason, because there are certain things that I might change it up and manipulate the load. If the goal is to put a little bit more stress on the knee, go narrow, okay? A little bit more front of the quads, knee, okay? Now, if I want to go wider, so watch where my hand was. My hand was right here where it's narrow with my knee. If I go wider a little bit, where my knee was at narrow, it just shortened the distance. So from here to here, that's going to put a little bit less load off of that knee and a little bit more onto the hips. So you're not, so there's going to be, so whatever you want to do, wide will make it less load off the knee, a little bit more on the hips, and you're going to work the inner thighs a little bit more, okay? So just kind of whatever you want to change up, so something to think about. So we're going to kind of work a wide squat right here. Toes are out in line with the knee, okay? If it's turned in, that's going to put that rotational force onto that tibia and that femur. So just try to keep that knee and toes in line with this as you're squatting down. So as you sit down, it should be like this, okay? So all we're doing is just bodyweight squat for some of you that's starting out, okay? You're going to take a seat all the way down, butt back, and then back up. Just make sure whatever you're sitting back into, it's not going to fall out from underneath you as you're doing that, okay? You can add layers of pillow. I just added a layer of pillow. If you want to add another layer of pillow to put less stress, the higher it is, the less load, because as you lower yourself, it gets harder, harder. And come out, it gets harder, and then back into easy again, because you're having to fight up against gravity. So the higher it is, you don't have to go low, and it just doesn't work your joints as hard if you go lower. That makes any sense, okay? So I don't want to do a big tutorial on so many ways in offloading the squats and so forth, okay? You can go higher off the edge of the couch, corner of this end of the couch if you need to do squats, okay? All right, so let's go. Let's say you're good with bodyweight squats. You can start out with the load higher if you need to. Just start going to getting that load slow and steady, okay? Looking straight up, you're sitting back. You're touching, when you sit back down, you're offloading, you're resetting. You're taking load off the bottom. That's what sitting down comes out. You're taking load off. Because if you're waiting here, you still got some load on your back, hips, and knees if you're not touching, if you're not completely resting at the bottom. I'm not saying that's bad, I'm just saying what's the goal, okay, for whatever you're working, okay? So if I want to completely sit down, from there I can stand up, I can try to focus more on working the muscles more and finding ways to take load off the joint, okay? So that's the purpose of the goal of my video today, is try to find ways to work the muscles more, grab and hold the quads as I press through, weight back, sit down. Try to create tension around your thighs. You might have to grab your legs, your thighs as you're doing that, okay? All right. So the next thing we're going to do, if you want to add more load to it, if you're at home, if you have a backpack, you can throw anything in here. I have like 2 15-pound weights in here, dumbbell weights. So one of the ways, if it's heavy for some of you ladies that need heavy weight but don't have a squat rack or anything like that, I would start with the bag on the couch, take a seat, okay? For me, I try to have where I'm seated and my thighs is pretty much parallel with the ground, okay? Like so. If you want a little bit higher, you can always add layers. Then I'll place the bag right on my thigh, okay? It's like you're carrying a baby in front of you, baby carrier, okay? You can have it on the back. There's so many different ways to manipulate load. This one puts less stress off the knee and more load into the thigh and hip area, okay? I would grab right here instead of in front. I would slide back, grab the sides. And if you can, if your shoulders aren't bugged or hurting, pull your scapula back, okay, shoulders back, and then look straight up, look tall. And all we're doing, we'll start out with a slightly wide stance. It doesn't have to be too wide, just enough where your legs and thighs are slightly outside of the bag, holding on to the sides, shoulders, scapula back, look straight ahead. All we're doing is just going to stand straight up, okay? As you stand straight up, you're kind of driving your hips a little bit forward, okay? You got the bag forward, and then you're going to look straight ahead, sit back, weight back, butt back into the couch, okay? Again, that motion, okay? If you feel that in your back, because the bag will start to pull you forward a little bit, because it's in front. If you don't have any shoulder issues, you can put your hand behind your back right here, like so, okay? Both hands. That's going to brace it where you're not stressing out your back, but you're focusing more on working the legs a lot more as you're doing that, okay? So this would be another variation of squats, weighted squats, okay? So the other variation is, of course, putting it behind your back. That is going to put more load onto your knees. Again, I'm not saying it's bad, is what is your purpose and what is your focus. So again, knees out, wide, that's going to work, put less stress off the knees, work a little bit back here. So as I'm going up, I'm going to have to lean forward to get myself because of the back, and then back up, stand up, okay? And then weight back, sit back down. Remember, sitting back down takes load off because it's hardest when you're at the bottom, okay? Now, if you can handle holding there, you're going to feel, if you hold there, some of y'all ladies, if you got strong knees, you can feel it in your knees, okay? If you play around with that, you start to figure out, oh, okay, I see what you're saying. If I put the weight back, I'm going to put more stress on you. Is that good or bad? It just depends on your joint integrity and joint strength of your knees, okay? If I need to have my knees to tolerate that load, am I purposely trying to intentionally strength train it in that manner, then yeah, that's the goal that I might have. I'll put the backpack on my back, okay? So everything I teach, it's with different purpose and intention, with different intent, okay? So if you have any questions, let me know about that. All right, I think I rambled too long. Hopefully some of that helps as far as changing out your the ways you're doing squats. There's so many ways to do squats, but I want to show you those different ways and then get a little bit of understanding and how to manipulate strength training and how you're doing a squat based off what you're trying to do. So hopefully some of those concepts, remember, if the bag or the load's in front, you're gonna take load off the knee and then into the hip thigh area, okay? The wider, you're gonna take load off the knee. If you want load off the knee, that's another way, okay? But it's the opposite if you do the opposite. So if I put load back here, that's gonna put more stress on the knee. And if I have the knees narrow, that's gonna put more load on the knees, okay? So just depends on what you're doing. And then higher the layers, it's going to put less stress off the knees. So finding ways to put less stress off the knees are those three things, okay? Wide stance, okay? Load in front, okay? And then high level, different levels. The higher, the easier, okay? So hopefully that should help in review. All right, ladies, you all have a good one. If you commented and I'm not seeing the comments. If you commented, I apologize. I'll try to go back in and see if there's anyone that commented or anything like that. All right, ladies, let me know if you have anything you want me to cover next time, and we'll go from there. Appreciate it. Have a good night.